What's up, everybody? We are officially live. I am down here in College Station. The boys are back in Austin. I had a night last night, boys. Number 3, Texas facing number 20, Texas A&M. It is officially rivalry time today. This is going to be the 119th meeting of the two teams. Did y'all realize? I didn't realize this. I saw the stat. This is our 4th road game of the year.
I saw you. Didn't you send that to us last night?
Yeah, actually, I have no idea what I sent to you last night.
Just live tweeting from the bars last night?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 4th. It's actually crazy to me. 2, and this is only the 3rd conference road game, considering the fact that OU is a neutral site. So it'll be I don't know. We'll see. This is the first time we've had real pressure on the road. I guess Michigan kind of, but
yeah.
Did you guys find any Aggie facts? I'm gonna guess. Oh, do you have something?
I mean, I still have the one that I sent y'all earlier in the week, and then I found another one.
Okay, so this is gonna be our Aggie segment. We're all gonna learn something about the Aggies. I watched Midnight Yell yesterday at 5:30 p.m. But what are your facts?
So the one that I had sent y'all earlier in the week, which I had never heard of, but apparently has been a thing that everyone's been laughing at for forever, is the cadets, I guess, on the sidelines will squeeze their own nuts to feel the same pain as the players on the field in support of the players. And I thought it was a complete joke. And then I looked up videos and then Googled it, and it also agreed. And I just cannot believe it's a real freaking thing, dude. It's insane.
I think the quote was the milkmen. Was on the
yes. Well, yeah, it said milkmen, but then I was showing all the videos of the cadets doing it.
Yeah, that's what they call. I believe if you're outside of the A&M world, you call them milkmen. I believe that's what it is. I'm still learning a lot of this. I watched Yale practice because I wanted to go, but it was at 5:30. Number one, even the guys I was with, they're like, "Why is Midnight Yell
at
5:30?" Yeah. Because typically, I guess, from what I understand, you go to Northgate. If you're in college, you go to Northgate, you party, then you go to Midnight Yell, and then you leave and go right back to Northgate. So the stadium was slammed. They had a full-blown – I don't know if y'all saw any of it, but they had a full-blown fireworks show.
Yeah. I watched it for about half an hour.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It
was cringy. And I, some of the guys I'm with, and with a bunch of buddies that went to A&M. There, even my buddy Kyle was like, I've been to 3 Yale practices. He's like, it's not my favorite, to be honest. It was a tough watch. I forced myself to watch it, but it's they're borderline trying to be stand-up comics, and it's just what are we doing?
Passing the bags.
I asked what if they had to be in the core, and apparently they don't have to be. It's 8 guys that are chosen, but they do a ton of events in a year. There's times where they'll do 3 events in one day, and so they're they're the guys to be on campus. But it's an interesting thing. I think it's cool. The tradition, the reason for the Yale was that they have all these different chants throughout the game, and they have different hand signals, and they are literally leading all of this. The tradition is really cool going back. The other tradition that they have, Jono, do you have a fact before I move on to the next one?
I looked up facts, man, and then the more I dug in, the more I was like, wow, this really feels like the biggest cult in Texas.
They have,
I had trouble finding stuff that I didn't already know, but yeah, man, it's a little cringy with the overalls roasting your opponent for a half hour in front of 50,000 people. So.
It is interesting. The 12th man, I think, is a pretty cool concept. So the history of the 12th man on January 2nd, 1922, Texas A&M was playing top-ranked Central College Praying Colonels in Dallas in the Dixie Classic. E. King Gill, an Aggie basketball player and former member of the football team, was up in the press box helping reporters identify players on the field. And the Aggies had gotten so decimated by injuries, they literally had nobody else on the bench. And so they called him down, geared him up, put him on the sideline, and stood there the whole game. He never played it down, but was the last person on the sideline for the Texas Aggies, just sitting on the bench, waiting to play if they were to need it. And they carried that tradition on. And now they have honorary members that will wear the 12th man jersey on the field. And typically it's a special teams guy.
So is he the good Ag?
Yes, I believe so. I don't want to say yes or
all
no.
The Yell Leader stories had the good Ag in it.
Yeah, has to be like,
sounds like a child's story that you
don't. It is.
And then the good Ag saved us all.
But it's cool. And now the 12th man is the entire stadium. The fans that are on they're standing by to play on the field. So the one thing about A&M, there's some quirky stuff, but there are really cool traditions. The vibe down here at Northgate, everything was cordial last night. We went down to Northgate. I stayed out way longer than I expected.
Yeah.
You boys pictures of the menu at the shot bar. Boy, pick your poison on that. I saw Rumplemints, Fireball, and Jaeger. Yikes. And that was the first stop. That bar is literally, you walk in, you order a shot, and you leave.
Yeah.
And we jumped around. We watched the Georgia game, and it just so I was talking to some fans, and because there were Aggies there and they were rooting for Georgia. And this is something I was going to talk to you guys about today. He was rooting for Georgia, and I asked why. And he said, because I need the SEC to look good. And I went off. I just said, I'm sorry, what? I don't care about anybody else that plays football except for the University of Texas.
Yeah.
And
watch the world burn.
Yeah, the mindset of, hey, I need our conference to look good. No, our entire conference could burn down. I don't care. And to be honest, for A&M fans, if Texas ends up winning the SEC this year, first year in, this league might get burned. They'll try and burn this down too. If I see a petition pop up of them trying to boot the Aggie or the Longhorns out of the SEC already.
I saw that petition.
But it's been a cool experience. It's something y'all gotta come down here 2 years from now, and we'll all do it again. Ticket prices have shot through the roof again. I think $900 now is the cheapest ticket, and there's only 400 tickets for the entire out of 110,000 seats in that stadium. There's only 400 left for this game. So
that's crazy.
Everyone's going. It's going to be wild. There's festivities. There's game day here right now. They have a flyover at 4:30. I guess because it's daylight still. I'm guessing that's why they're doing it. There's the cadet, all the core walks through. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm going to need a nap now and then because this is going to be a long day, and I'm going to have to pace myself.
Yeah.
I got one more fact. I'm not letting us get out of here with tipping our hats to this 12th man bullcrap. The Aggies, there's so much that you just go through Kyle and you can get so many little facts for all this stuff. But the one that annoyed me the most was the 2 Big 12 titles that they slapped up on their stadium that they did not win.
Yeah.
The 1997, which they lost to Nebraska in the game 54-15 and claimed it as a title. And then the 2012 or 2010 Big 12 title, which they didn't even play in the game, and they have it slapped on their stadium.
Now, is this confirmed? Because I saw that on Twitter and I didn't even confirm it.
Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and that was as they moved to the SEC, wasn't it?
Yeah, as they were leaving.
Up there.
Yeah,
look at man. They got.
So when's the last time they've actually won a conference championship? Then, because I saw rumors, but I didn't look into it, that Rice has won a conference championship before Texas A&M has.
But I mean, probably so. Rice been playing.
Conference championships. I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's basketball. Football. I don't know if they have. It just brought up Rutgers basketball game. Wikipedia. That's always the validity of truth, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any. I don't. All-time conference titles. It says 18 conference titles on here, 17 in the SWAC, and 1 Big 12 title. 20. Yeah, but this is Wikipedia, so
yeah,
I have no idea. They have 2 Heisman winners. We all know one of them, which last night at his bar is trash. Like,
really?
Really?
We walked in there and we walked right back out. It was like, I'm too old to like. You want to
money time or something like that?
Yeah. And everyone's like, rumors are Johnny's going to show up. And I was like, Johnny, who's Johnny? I got my hand stamped last night, by the way. Yeah, felt good, boys.
It's the hat.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wore the cowboy hat. I did not wear Longhorn gear yesterday. I went neutral. I look at everybody in the group agreed we're just going to be neutral for this. There was an Aggie came up to one of us and was like, "Hey, do we like the Texas Tech? Because that guy's wearing a Texas Tech shirt." And he was asking one of the Aggie guys I'm with, and I was like, "Look at, I'm a Longhorn fan. We just left the conference, and I've never cared about Texas Tech."
Yeah.
So he's wanting to like start something. It's like, hey, bud, let's calm down. Like, I don't even know if you're old enough. The guy that was saying it, I don't even know if he was old enough to really remember even Texas Tech and A&M playing each other.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those like, yeah, and that's what most of these kids at the bar, they've never seen really Texas and Texas A&M play each other. I mean, it's been a hot minute since, well, let's see, 2011.
They were too young to care.
Yeah. I mean, they're on the playground somewhere. Yeah. We're in the farm. But no, I've had a really good experience so far. Everyone's been super chill and cool, which I've always experienced that with A&M. Like, they're just fun to hang out with, tailgate with. Like, it's a cool experience. Like, I'm interested to see the difference because I've never seen it in Austin for the same game. So I'm interested to see like how it's recepted there for Aggies coming out there. I've heard a lot of things from this year of people that are coming to visit, and everyone's had great things to say. Like, we even at the last tailgate we were at, there's a guy who's like, "Hey, I need you guys to trash talk my buddy who was a Kentucky fan," and I was like, "What are we gonna say?" Like, like there's two people. There's really one team we hate, and that's OU, and A&M. Like, I'm starting to get there now. I don't really hate them. Like, it's just a fun rivalry, but they hate us. Yeah. And it's on the same level as Arkansas. You just don't realize it. But it's it's gonna be a good time. So
there's a lot of nice respect in here. I feel like we need to get Joe Sanchez in here just to go crazy.
Yeah, TJ's saying all this, but he's yet to wear a Texas gear out. So I think we should.
Okay,
let's reassess at the post game.
Everybody was really nice when I was undercover.
Here's the deal. You got to understand. Well, no, even like I was watching like all the guys wearing Longhorn gear. Like, last night Mo Bamba did pop on at one of the bars we were at, and I started. That's why I have no voice. I was like, "That's our guy." And I threw the horns up immediately. Like, I threw the horns up everywhere, and immediately, like 10 horns down, start raining on me. I was like, okay. But Mo Bamba played, and I was like, oh, hey, he played for us. Our guy.
I know that guy.
I did not like that. But also, I have to be cordial because they're allowing me. That's my ticket into the game, so I've got to get in still. So, no, it's gonna be fun. talk about the game real quick. I will start with this. I don't know if Quinn's playing, boys.
Rumor mill's been running.
Yeah,
is it propaganda? What is it?
I was going to ask you about that because I know that went down in the group chat and y'all were talking about that, and I was like, I hadn't heard it to that extent that like y'all were talking about. I mean, I had heard some rumors early in the week.
You got that Instagram delay. You got to get
on Twitter, man. Yeah. Hey, you'll find out after the game from what we're finding out right now.
I don't believe it, man. I don't see any way he doesn't play in this game, even with a busted ankle.
I think he's going to play, but I do think we see Arch. Like A&M has struggled against a scrambling quarterback. Like it's a known fact. So I don't know. Like I'm starting. It's a high ankle sprain. I saw where Monday's practice was just a walkthrough. Like there was no actual practice, and his mobility on Wednesday was not great, from what I understand. Yeah. So if he's in the game and he's not moving around, we're going to see Arch. Like I do feel like this is going to probably happen, and it's going to be weird.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that he can make it through the second quarter, put up some stats and just get it to a decent lead, and then I wouldn't be mad at the Arch thing. I would hate to see him like come out and just get a few reps and then just like can't do it. All the Texas faithful just goes insane, and like in that situation, like just the wave of opinion just changes at that point. I feel like
I've got 2 bets that I made last night with Aggies. Number one, the first bet is Wegman, I think, will play a series at least. Okay. I think I don't know if it gets to that point or not. We'll see, but I have that. Also, that it's 27 points, that the Aggies will put up more than 27 points on this Longhorn defense. I have that bet going as well.
That they won't put up.
I have that they won't put up more than. The original score guess that was put out last night was 30 or 37 for Aggies over the Longhorns was the guess I heard, and I said, "There's zero shot you guys are putting 37 points on this defense." And then I even dropped it down. I was like, "You won't score over 27 points on this defense," and that was the agreement. And so. I don't know. The way our defense is played, even through Georgia, like if you look at the Georgia game, yeah, they put up 31 points on us, but the field position that they got every single time, and the defense still stopped them. They should have scored more than what they did. I just don't. I see this defense completely showing out again. A&M is more of a run the football type of team. That's and I just don't see this defense letting them throw the ball over the field. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, they have to be a run the ball team against. I mean, Reed has not shown the ability to be like a consistent diming it down the field, picking his shots and everything like that. Yeah, he'll get lucky here and there, but like that's not his strong suit. Scrambling and making a play happen is what he does. And if we can keep containment, I think we should be just fine in this game. I don't think their path to victory goes through our secondary. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think if you look at the other side of the ball, this A&M secondary has struggled at times this season. I believe their national rank is somewhere in the 80s as far as pass defense. So there's obviously going to be areas that, Quinn could expose them. It's just going to be interesting to see, man, because, it's kind of cliche and everybody always says it, but like you really can throw stats out the window going into this game because either one of these teams could completely flip the switch on what they've been doing all season. You're obviously going to do whatever it takes, in this game. So it's hard to kind of think about the matchups and everything. But if you look at it, like Seth said, A&M's bread and butter over 6 times this year, they've rushed for over 200 yards. And our bread and butter all year has been stopping the run. Nobody's really been able to run the ball on us consistently. So that battle right there is probably going to be one of the most fun to watch because Reed is obviously the most explosive quarterback as far as his legs go that we faced this season for sure.
Oh yeah, but I mean, going back to that, first of all, we have our first Gig'em in the chat. That's the guy I'll be sitting next to. What's up, Kyle?
Yes, Kyle.
But as far as like running quarterbacks, like that's, I mean, if you watch the OU game, they had put 2 spies on the quarterback the whole time. Like that they're used to playing against certain running backs that or quarterbacks that are running and mobile, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Like this is a guy that actually does have mobility more than most. So it'll be an interesting test. I mean, Colin Simmons is going to be a big part of this game, in my opinion. I think Anthony Hill is going to be a big part of that defense this game. Like those two show up and it's game over.
And Hill, stud on them hoes.
Dude, yeah, we're about to really find out what Texas defense is all about because this is going to be the loudest environment. We get past the first quarter with the crowd and get them kind of contained a little bit. For the most part, I think that kind of where the rivalry stuff all really collides in that first quarter, in my opinion. After that, it is football only on the field. So we get past the first quarter, we get a big turnover to start the game is going to be huge. I think that's really going to set the tone. But I mean, realistically, in order for A&M to win, they're going to have to put up 28 points, in my opinion. Like I think that's kind of the magic number. Like in order for them to win, they've got to be able to stop the offense, which is doable. Georgia's shown us that blueprint. Even Kentucky for a little bit last week. That you get to our defense and keep them on the field and control the football. Vanderbilt, like that's all they do is run the clock the whole time. So you play against a running team that can get the first downs. That's where our problem is going to end up. That's kind of my biggest worry there.
Yeah. I am really interested to see how we handle the noise in the environment. Like, are we just straight business? I mean, the team that showed up in Alabama last year, like that environment was crazy. I don't think it's going to be nearly as crazy as Kyle Field is going to be today. But I mean, it was just a business meeting. Like this, you didn't see it affecting them at all. They were just playing their game. And I'm really interested to see if we have those jitters at the beginning of the game or if it's just let's go to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look back at that LSU game with Texas A&M, and we saw how quiet that stadium can get at times, and we saw how loud that stadium can get at times in that game. So, yeah, it's going to come down to composure, and we have a very experienced line, and that's where you really see the issues on the loud stadium, obviously, is that offensive line and the miscommunication. So it's really going to come down to those guys, and, you know, I like our odds with that because I feel like our offensive line has turned the corner these last couple of weeks and looked a lot better. So, yeah, dude, that stadium's going to be ridiculous.
Crazy.
And I'm interested to see with the coin toss if, you know, if we win the coin toss, are we deferring? Or because all of a sudden Sark's kind of guy that's going to be like, let me get my offense out there, you know.
Sark's MO is give me my boys on the field. Now the other flip side to that is number one, if Quinn is in the game the whole time, he's got to make sure he is shaking it up a little bit on his count and not doing the exact same thing over and over because they're going to pick that up quick and they'll be able to jump the snap pretty easily there. The other thing is going to be making sure Arch actually has that silent countdown and in that kind of environment because you could set yourself up for failure on that pretty quickly. Like that's my big worry with Arch is him being able to handle the situation at hand. He hasn't played in a big game yet. So that if Arch ends up coming in, that's going to be my biggest worry. And Sark will dial up the right plays. He's done it for Quinn this whole time, right? He hasn't really thrown a lot of deep balls because he wants to protect Quinn with his oblique. I still think something's wrong with his oblique. So he's got 2 injuries now he's dealing with. So if Arch does come in and he settles down, it could be the star is born. I mean, it could go either direction on that.
Yeah. Watching the Georgia game last night in Georgia Tech, just watching Haynes King, his ability to not be dual threat, but just extend plays with his legs was just making me worry about Quinn. in this game. Just like the little ability to just make something happen, scramble a little bit and get the ball out. And Quinn has just not shown that for like the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep.
And I just kept playing in my head as Quinn in those situations. Like he would have just fallen down right there. And that's going to eat our lunch today if that's the case. If he cannot get a little bit of scramble on his legs, it's going to be really rough.
God, that quarterback took a beating last night, dude.
Yeah, he did.
There's so many times he got up where you could tell, you could see it in his face that he was just like, I'm on empty, dude. And he still got back up there to the line, and they ran that same freaking little play over and over again, the little option with the fake pitch.
Yeah.
And then he'd go right up the middle again. That was a wild game, man.
I still can't believe they didn't challenge that pass interference with a tip ball. Like,
yeah,
that gets in the game. That coach was devastated, like just crying in the other coach in Kirby Smart's arms last night. Like that was his career game to coach, and it just falls short. They had it. I mean,
they had it so many times, dude.
Yeah, I felt like they should have won that game multiple times.
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
I was talking to Joe last night, and because Kirby would call in timeouts, every time that Georgia Tech would run out there and with the formation, he'd call a timeout and then reassess. I told Joe, I was like, I put my punt team out there. You're going to call a timeout anyways, or I'm going to call a timeout. Somebody's going to call a timeout. I'm not giving you anything to look at. It did not fail that every freaking overtime he saw the formation, called the timeout, and then he really started dialing up those blitzes late in the game that Georgia Tech was too gassed to even contain. So, man, that was one of those games where I was like, dude, this might break the record. Neither one of these teams look like they want to win at this point.
The rumor mill is actually, I heard something last night. I heard Kirby Smart's going to the NFL. I was blown away when I heard it, but that's
you heard that from Aggies?
Yeah.
Are these the Aggie sources?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm just saying. That's what
dude, you're the king of college football right now, in my opinion. Those keys got handed over with Saban.
Yeah.
And you have something going that's doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. So that would be a bizarre move for sure.
I mean, yes and no. Like, especially the way transfer portal and NIL is going. Like, they kind of lost what they had going from that. Like, they're now money talks, and that's the other thing I want to like. Do you guys have anything else for the game? Because I do want to segue into this.
Go for it, man.
Okay. Let's talk about this Michigan quarterback fiasco. Okay. So Dave Portnoy says way back, like, I'll put 2-3 mil into a quarterback. And we obviously see the story of what happened and how it kind of transpired. And now he's going there. He's got a $10 million deal for 3 years. Here's the Dave Portnoy aspect of it that I started thinking about is Dave Portnoy is the known gambler. And that 2-3 mil that he's putting in there, you could put in with stipulations and do bonuses, if you will. Hey, if you hit this many receiving yards, if you have this many touchdowns, you'll get paid this. All he's got to do is go put that bet on at the beginning of the season for a future. And literally he's paying the guy what he's making off of his bets. Like, quite literally all Portnoy's doing is putting up his money and saying, hey, if you hit this, then you get all of this reward. And somebody is going to have to step in here because this is about to get very, very muddy.
I mean, is there any way? I mean, I don't know. My mind immediately went to like NCAA and gambling. If the money could be traced back to being won from gambling, could that end up biting them somehow? I don't know.
I mean, yes, but it's Michigan. I mean, they
have no problem with it
for a little while, and they don't. And they're like Connor Stallions are blatantly obvious now.
Yeah,
like the guy's going. He was coaching the high school football team that the guy plays on, out of nowhere just for the playoffs. Like, what is this?
It's wild.
Yeah, because they got no heat from it, man. They got a slap on a wrist and the championship out of it. So I feel like they're to the point where they're like, I don't care. Like, we got what we wanted at the end of the day.
Can't wait for season 3 of Connor Stallion's story.
Bro, it's it's hopefully it's the same documentary style that what was this Aaron Hernandez. Have y'all watched any of that? I haven't seen anything. I just see clips, and it is just the goofiest thing I have ever seen.
Oh, really?
Like, there's no way
I haven't
this is
watched
an
any.
actual serious documentary. Like, it's just it's like The Office, but in football.
Yeah.
It's that it's such parody that they're trying. I can't understand if they're trying to be serious or not. But the clips that I see of like the guy playing Gronk and
Yeah.
the routes that he's running, it's like you couldn't get one actor to like that actually looked like he was athletic. Like it looked like me going out and running routes.
Dude, Hollywood has not been able to figure out how to throw a football.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm interested to see this new Happy Gilmore movie if they actually know how to actually hit golf balls. Because I went back and watched that old Happy Gilmore, and I'm like, they're not even on a golf course. They went to a park somewhere and just cut holes in and threw some sand down on the ground. It's like, what am I watching? That's why I can't watch movies. Like I just get so into the detail that it's like, and Adam Sandler is not going to put that much effort into it. It's all for parody. It's all for
yeah, for sure.
the laughs, which we need a good movie that's like that. Hopefully it doesn't bomb. But there's like 400 people in that movie.
Don't slander my boy Sandler.
Oh no, dude. That's no. I'm on the same page.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's going to put that much detail into like where he's playing. Like, I'm sure he'll be on an actual golf course. He's got a little bit better of a budget for this one than he did before. So
yeah, that'd be great.
We've had some games happen already, and it's been a little chaos. Ole Miss ends up pulling it out there.
Yeah, when did you put in your Wisconsin Minnesota pick in, dude?
I put everything in on Monday or Tuesday.
You got a screenshot to verify?
I don't need a screenshot. I'm sure I can guarantee you on the Google Sheets, I can go in and see when things have been edited.
Okay.
I can find something. But yes, I have had this up. I didn't even realize. Like I was looking, I was like, these guys haven't made any picks. But yeah, I'm already up too. So I've got the Colorado pick, and then I've got the Minnesota. The Minnesota pick was easy money for me.
Little segue mentioning that game. Did Travis Hunter win the Heisman yesterday? I mean, that's what the media narrative is right now. That, and as far as the betting odds go as well, he took an insane leap in that game. And I mean, I get it. That was a game like unlike I've seen in a long time, with somebody to be 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving, an interception, pass breakup, tackle. I mean, we've seen it from him all year for sure. But man, they really like hammered that home on everything yesterday.
I think he got it yesterday. I mean, everybody was loving the Ashton Jeanty story, but he hasn't kept like the momentum going in it. He's had an amazing season, but Travis Hunter, I feel like, secured it yesterday for sure.
They're allowing Jeanty, like all these, like Jeanty's got 2 more games now, and they're allowing those yards to count. So like we were looking it up last night, and Barry Sanders, dude, like what he did in the amount of games is crazy. Now it was also brought up that Jeanty didn't play most of, like some of these games, he didn't play the full game, but it's number one, you go back and you look at like what Barry Sanders, even Melvin Gordon, like what those guys did in a single season, but Barry Sanders in particular, because I need to go back and look and see exactly how many games he played, but I believe it's going to be these next 2 games wouldn't count for Barry. Like Barry didn't play these extra games. So Jeanty, for what he's done, has been phenomenal. And, he put up over 200 again yesterday, but I don't know if Deion is not hurting Travis at this point with his whole Thorpe awards fiasco that he went on about. Like that, what a crazy rant, dude. Like sit there and like, oh, Travis Hunter's not being respected. Like, dude, you're not going to get both trophies. Like it's not going to happen. Like the NCAA will not allow that. So you're going to get the most prestigious award. You're going to go to that. But the Thorpe Award, you look up his numbers, like no. Like, and Deion's making the excuse of, oh, they're not throwing to him. Well, that's what happens. Like and guys get ignored because they're not throwing to them. Like, I mean, but Jade Barron, like, guy's going off, and they haven't been throwing to him a whole lot, but he's everywhere.
He's
so, I mean, I understand to a point, but to sit there and go, you can have my Thorpe award. Travis is going to take that one. I'm going to give him mine. It's just collecting dust anyways. Hey, dude, that award doesn't count. Like, you can't go, oh, hey, this is my coach's award. He gave it to me and thought that I was the best in the nation in defense.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. Now, is it impressive what he's doing? Absolutely. On both sides of the ball, the amount of snaps. I think Travis Hunter is the best college athlete we've seen in a hot minute, like just of what he's doing. But no, get out of here with that. Like, quit crying, Dion. Quit making everything about you.
For sure.
I agree. Side note, R.I.P. Mike Gundy.
Oh man.
Did he die?
His career did yesterday.
Well,
dude, 0-9 in a conference that took a major hit, and you brought back Bowman and Ollie Gordon. Like, if you would have told me this at the start of the season, I would have said you're freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, same, because that was my Big 12 pick.
Yeah, dude. I don't understand how that's even possible for that team when they were good enough to make it to the Big 12 championship against us last year and brought back a very similar team. It's super confusing, and you got to point straight at Gundy. Like,
yep.
Where else are you going to point at this point?
Dude, some of his players were going off on Twitter last night also talking about, like, I've had a great 4 years here in Stillwater, but this is what it was really like. And, like, just throwing Gundy under the bus about, like, calling him a ghetto rat while they're working out and stuff like that in the locker room. And, like, crap. Okay.
Hey, dude, he gave you a free pass on drunk driving. He's done it 1,000 times.
Speaking of the Big 12, did Memphis just save the Big 12?
Yep.
Because with them beating Tulane, that kind of just opens up the door for whatever Big 12 team comes out now, because there was a lot of question marks if Tulane was able to win, this game and win their conference game, that they were going to be a higher ranked conference champion at that time.
Yep.
But now that kind of just threw the Big 12. Have you seen all the scenarios with the Big 12 too? Like, Texas Tech still has a road to the Big 12 championship. Like, West Virginia still has a road to the championship. Like, this was obviously before some of the games yesterday, so stuff might have changed. But there was still, like, I think they said 6 or 7 teams that still had a chance to make the conference championship.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got Colorado is in. Like, that's a guarantee. They're at 7-2. You got Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, all with 2 losses in conference. You've got, I don't understand how, like, if that's the case, like, with 3 losses, you've got Baylor, K-State, TCU, Texas Tech, West Virginia. Like, that, there's no way all of that.
Yeah, no, it would be like a crazy scenario. It's just one of those that they were like, they're actually still alive mathematically, they're still alive going into this last game of the year, but they would obviously need a bunch of crap to happen. But that's crazy to me that the Big 12 is what it is this year.
Yeah, I'm
a dumpster fire.
I'm trying to see what who's actually playing in the Big 12 today. Like, if they're playing like ranked or like just playing each other.
Yeah, they're all playing each other.
Let's see. Kansas is playing Baylor. So that eliminates, or no, I mean, Baylor would, I don't even understand. West Virginia versus Texas Tech. They're both three losses. Arizona State and Arizona. So Arizona would need to win that game. Arizona's way out. So Arizona would need to win. TCU, Cincinnati. Cincinnati would need to win. Iowa State, K-State. See, that eliminates everything right there. Well, if Iowa State wins or loses, that brings another 3, and then Houston would have to win and beat BYU. Utah.
Yeah, it would just have to be chaos for any of that to happen. But like, if any conference is going to have that happen,
that's true.
Big 12.
If there's anything that's going to happen, it's going to be the Big 12 who cannibalizes themselves every time. Although the SEC tried to cannibalize them, well, not really cannibalize themselves. They were just trying to give it away. The Ole Miss game, the Georgia game, today is going to be chaotic. with that being said, let's go to picks. Picks for the week. We'll go back to the standings. I am at 21, 28 and 1. Seth is at 22, 27 and 1. And Jono is at 24, 25 and 1. I have 2 wins on the board already with Colorado minus 16.5. And I had Minnesota, why Minnesota wasn't favored in that game, I don't know. But Minnesota smoked Wisconsin. I also have Notre Dame minus 7.5 over USC. That's going to be my iffy one. BYU minus 13 over Houston, and then Kansas. My confident pick is Kansas minus 1.5 over Baylor. Kansas is just hot on fire right now. So that is those are my picks of the week.
Is it in Waco?
It is.
Okay. Interesting. I was surprised that I was able to get this one from you, TJ. Texas minus 5 against the Aggies.
Oh yeah.
South Carolina plus 2.5 versus Clemson. SC's playing great. I want to see him thump them. Illinois minus 7.5 against Northwestern. Malik Murphy at Duke is going to do minus 4 against Wake Forest, and Texas Tech minus 2.5 versus West Virginia. Going 5 for 5.
I'll switch out one of mine. I saw that I had the same as stats on, so I'll make an edit. I have a backup pick in that moment, but I got Tennessee to cover 10.5 versus Vandy. I think the little magic with Vandy has ran out.
Okay.
Fun season for them, but they're out. I also like South Carolina over Clemson, but I will not be taking that. I'll go with Illinois to cover 7.5 versus Northwestern today.
That was my next pick too.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. I'm going a little different than TJ with this one. I got Baylor winning that game. Kansas has been hot for 3 straight games, but I think when they don't play a ranked opponent, they go back to being Kansas again. And I'll take Baylor in that game. I got Army to cover 6.5 versus UTSA, and Boston College to cover 3.5 versus Pitt. And then my last pick, I'll take Penn State to cover 25 over Maryland today at home.
Wait, don't you still have to add
one
too? No, that is my ad.
You have to add 2.
No, I already put one up. So he's got Tennessee, Illinois, Baylor, Army.
No, I already have Illinois also.
Oh, you have Illinois?
Yeah, I had South Carolina and Illinois.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so what was the last pick you made, John?
2,
copying me, man.
3, 4. No, I got 5.
Yeah, what's the last pick that you made? I didn't hear that one. I thought you were throwing
Penn State to cover. It's 25 against Maryland.
20. It's minus 25.
Yeah.
Penn State.
Yes.
Oh, that's a loss. Like that's an absolute L.
Nah, dude, Maryland's bad this year.
They are bad, but Penn State is not going to win by 25. But we'll see.
Hey, he's in the lead. We need him to lose.
Last thing, let's do. First, I want to do first touchdown of the game. Who scores? By the way, I don't know if you guys looked. Gunnar Helm is like 3x for a touchdown today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Hammered that one.
First touchdown, Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
Old Faithful.
I got Wisner.
It's probably going to be Golden. I'm going to go Golden.
Yeah.
Although I'm tempted to go Bolden with his run backs on special teams. He's due for one. He's just been so close. But I am going to go Golden for that. Last thing before we head out, score predictions.
I do have Helm on my sleeper pick already for a touchdown.
Is Gunnar Helm?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hammered that. Yeah, the second I saw it.
Yeah.
I'll lose to something else, but it'll be fine as long as we get a W.
What was the last thing you wanted to say?
Score predictions. What's your score predictions for the game?
I don't like this. I want to change it, but I'll just go ahead because I want to think about it. But I have 35-13 Texas.
35-13. I got to change mine.
Yeah, I haven't changed mine on there yet.
That was last week's.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Texas 28, A&M 13.
Okay, I am going 31-17 Texas over the Aggies. I think the crowd and everything, that we'll be able to get a little bit of momentum. Texas has started to give up a little bit of points. I'm worried about they're going to score off turnovers. Like Blue is going to fumble the football again. I just feel it. Like the guy is just a constant right now with fumbling the football. So I think that they get points off of a turnover, whether or not be directly off the turnover or if they get field position. That's how they're going to really be able to score points. But I think it's going to be 31-17 Texas with the win to go to the SEC championship. So,
all right,
you boys got anything?
I like all of those outcomes.
I do too. Take them. I do. I'm glad no one picked A&M to win this game. I appreciate that.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I can't tell who's the winner on y'all's picks. So,
there's never a question. If I'm picking a game that Texas is playing in, it's going to be Texas. I've been wrong once, by the way.
I mean, we all have that record.
Yes, correct.
TJ, you going to be live tweeting from all your adventures today?
Yeah, I will be. We're actually probably about to head out. I'm gonna go get some brekkie, and then there's all kinds of like flyovers and stuff going. Like I can hear just jets flying over like already this morning. Yeah. So I will need a nap. Football's about to start here in about an hour.
Those are crop dusting planes.
Yeah, dude. No, I can promise you those are not crop dusting planes. They are loud. All right. Well, I will go. I'll definitely be going live at some point during the game. Probably, I do want to show the crowd. I want to show the full experience. I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome experience. You boys got anything?
I'm excited to watch it, man. It's going to be. Jono and I had talked about it last week. I mean, we had already had a few beers, but we had totally convinced ourselves that we were going to drive down there and tailgate, maybe not even get into the game, but just have the experience. Then I kept waiting for him to say something all week, and then finally I texted him yesterday, like, "We're not going, right?" no, we're not going.
Still time, boys. Game's not kickoff at 6:49. It's still time. It's only a 2-hour drive.
Yeah,
actually, longer now, but
if it wasn't for the drive home, I would totally be down. But win or lose, that drive is going to suck so bad tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I am staying here tonight. Thank goodness. All right. Well, until then, I'll see you boys tomorrow at some point to recap the win. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there.
Right.
Recap the win. So I'll be bringing it home. But until then, hook 'em horns, boys.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.